In the case study, page number 6, the global marketing decision, the candidate brief, they have given you all the clear instructions about your role there in the case study. So you need to make sure that you're maintaining whatever the expectations they have to score more marks in your case study. So let me read it for you all for the benefit of everyone. So under the candidate brief, the scenario they have given, and they said, you are a self-employed marketing consultant who has been hired by the Ford Motor Company. So you're a consultant. You're not an employee over there. You're a third-party hired marketing consultant. Why they have given this? Your tone of communication in this document should be professional. And remember, anyway, it's a strategic level document you are preparing. It's a postgraduate level 7 qualification you are preparing. So your tone of communication should be professional. So you are acting here like a marketing consultant, third party self-employed marketing consultant. Don't mention yourself as an employee or the marketing manager or the brand manager there for Ford Motor Company. Remember that your role here in this case study, working as a self-employed marketing consultant who have been hired by the Ford Motor Company. This is so crucial, guys, because you might miss these things and you might write it in a different tone. So your communication with the examiner, with your answer, should be in the professional tone as a marketing consultant. There in the second paragraph, they clearly mention like this: you have been asked by the Ford Motor Company to undertake a six-side strategic marketing audit to analyze both internal and the external factors, including strategic uncertainty, changing customer preferences, advancement in the technology and regulation impact, the future of Ford, so that the organization can understand its strategic options for growth, profitability, and maintain its competitive positioning. So you can identify some of the areas where you need to focus in your strategic audit by reading that paragraph. So whatever the key areas in the six-side audit, some of the key areas in the six-side audit, they have mentioned there. You have to look at the strategic uncertainty, you have to look at the external factors, internal factors, technological advancements that are there in the industry, the regulations that are there in the industry, which is impacting the organization and the industry. So you got to focus on all these areas in your case study and prepare your audit tool while you're reading your case study document. They also said consideration should be given to the Ford Motor Company's strengths and the weaknesses, the core competencies, the value propositions, the competitive advantage, the value creations, and its readiness to compete in the global market. So we have been discussing a couple of previous year case studies questions also. So you could see some of the questions that they have that they were asking related to their readiness to face the global challenges, the global market, including the changes in the competition, changes in the consumer behavior, the market behavior. So you have to analyze the Ford Motor Company's strengths and the weaknesses, internal factors. Internal environmental analysis, you can find the Ford Motor Company strengths, you can find the Ford Motor Company weaknesses. So core competency analysis you can do, RBV, resource based view analysis you can do, the value proposition you can do, the competitive advantage, the competitive positioning what you have, you can talk about. So many audit tools what we have been discussing so far, you can use in analyzing this area. So anyway, the strengths and the weaknesses, remember guys, the strengths and the weaknesses you are capturing by analyzing the internal environments of the Ford Motor Company. So use whatever the related tools that are connected in analyzing the internal environmental areas to identify your strengths and the weaknesses we have been discussing. Please refer the classroom recordings if you have missed any sessions, and make sure that you are following the tools properly and bring them into your 6-page audit. And also they ask in the next paragraph, you should also consider the Ford Motor Company's the current international strategy and its strategic intent and the directions while taking into account its organization's culture, vision, mission, stakeholder expectations, and current brand strategy, including its corporate social responsibility CSR strategies for better stakeholder engagement and the enhancing the organization's values and brand equity. So you have to focus on those areas. You have to do CSR audit, you have to do the strategic intent audit, you have to do the current brand strategies what they have implemented, the current marketing strategies, current international strategies they have used. So you need to analyze all these areas, and you need to make sure that these areas are in your audit tools before you start answering. Because if your answer does not support by the audit tools what you have built, your answer will not be validated properly, which means your arguments you need to validate with the audit tools what you have developed. So all these areas should be in your audit, so make sure that you're bringing them into your audit tools and discuss it further. In addition, you should consider the challenges and the opportunities, which means the opportunities and threats. You know the SWOT model. Internal analysis, we identify the strengths and the weaknesses, and external analysis, which means by analyzing all the other macros and the micros, which is outside the organization, you identify the challenges and the opportunities. So they ask you, in addition, you should consider challenges and the opportunities arising from emerging market trends, collaborating with partners and the stakeholders, changes in the technology and the customer behavior preferences. So you need to look at whatever the trend patterns, whatever the partnerships, the collaborations, mergers, acquisitions, technology changes that are taking place in the industry related to the um, automobile industry, especially how the AI, VR, AR, augmented reality, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, so those things, the machine learning. So much of technological changes that were taking place in the automobile industry. So you got to study. Those details are there in the case study. So you have to refer them through the case study and find, not from any outside sources, but those details must be there in the case study. So you have to extract them from the case study, not from other sources. They also ask you to look at the financial positions. Look at the last paragraph. As part of your six-side audit, you should also review the organization's financial positions. You need to look at the profitability ratios and the couple of ratios you need to look at connected to the financial part of the organization, including the sustainable funding sources to implement strategic options. So you need to make sure that you are finding, okay, what are the sustainable funding sources, the long term sustainable funding sources to implement your strategic options that you are planning. So you have to analyze those things, taking from the comprehensive reading in your case study. Its strategic risk, the organization constraints, and the relevant mitigation strategies to overcome these risks and the constraints also you need to discuss whenever it's necessary in your answers as they have asked. So you need to make sure that your audit, before the case study question comes up, you prepare with all these details. So this is one of the important pages in the entire case study, the candidate brief. So read it, not once, maybe two three times you have to read it, and you need to make sure that you're complying whatever the expected areas in the case study audit. So guys, let's start reading the case study also, same as this. Make sure that you're focusing on the key areas that they are expecting in your answer.